Representative Deal?
Thank you. Thank you both. How are we measuring success with this? I can tell you how I would measure success. We have this many people addicted to drugs, and through this intervention that you're talking about, we have substantially fewer people addicted. Is that how we are measuring success with this program?
Okay. Co-Chair Campos, Co-Chair Valderrama, Rep Deal. I think there are a lot of ways to measure success. I think your measure is one of them. But I think our Oversight and Accountability Council is also seeing addiction and substance use as more of a spectrum, a little less black and white in terms of you have an addiction and now you don't. I think it could be, you are continuing to use drugs, but you're doing it in a safer way, which means you don't have the same risk for disease, for hepatitis, for HIV, for infection, and that means you're not going to the ER, you're being healthier, and at some point, having those conversations with harm reduction providers, having those conversations with peers, you might decide that you want to enter recovery, and that's the success story. I think finding more people housing, transitional housing, so that they can eventually get into permanent housing is a success story. I think expanding the number of people who are working through supported employment and job training and job development skills is a success story. And so I think within all of the services that Measure 110 is providing, we're going to see success stories. And I don't think it can be told in as black and white a narrative as someone was using drugs and now they're not, because that person might not be using drugs anymore, but if they don't have a job and they don't have housing and they don't have a support system in their community to continue their path in recovery, I don't know if that could be considered a success story. And so I think it's a little bit more looking at the whole person and looking at everything that is going on in their life and in their community and trying to improve those circumstances so that they have a better chance at long-term recovery, at gainful employment, and at permanent housing.
Can I ask a follow-up? So I have people in my district that have tried to go to treatment and been told they have to wait 6 months. And they got to call every day. And if they don't call every day, then they don't get it, then they get put back in the queue. And that's asking a lot for somebody that's addicted, to call every day. And it's not working. So I'm curious what funds, how are the funds being divided between addiction treatment and these other items that you're speaking of?
Yeah, thank you, Co-Chair Campos, Co-Chair Valderrama, Rep Deal. Thank you for that question. I think it is the way we define treatment. The council was tasked with funding low barrier treatment, and what you just described is not low barrier, that's very high barrier. So the council funded what is outpatient or intensive outpatient treatment, which is actually very successful. The waiting times aren't as long because you're not actually waiting for a bed, you're just waiting for a spot and a provider. And so that type of low barrier treatment is what Measure 110 was created to fund, so that folks can get that treatment in their communities, right, and build those support systems and build that whole health that Measure 110 was intended to provide folks.
Can I, so when my constituent is calling, why aren't they being referred to that treatment? What number do they call to get that treatment?
That's a great question. It's going to be dependent. Oh, sorry. Co-Chair Campos, Co-Chair Valderrama, Rep Deal. It's going to be dependent on where they are located, the county they are located in. Marion County. Okay, so let us get you a list of providers.
Right.
We have a website with a dashboard, and also there is a Lines for Life number that anyone can call to find out the services in their area.
And I think you answered my other question. There is no funding for higher barrier treatments in this $291 million? It's all low barrier treatment?
So it is not, sorry, Coach Eric Campos, Co-Chair Valderrama, Rep. Deal. It is not, they did fund some beds. They did fund a detox. There were some things that they funded that aren't, that low barrier treatment, and we can get you a list of those if you would like.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to make more of a statement, but I feel compelled to. I've talked to a lot of constituents. This issue is devastating our communities, and I do not believe that the OHA or the OAC are carrying out the spirit or intent of Ballot Measure 110. I know people who voted for Ballot Measure 110, and they're shocked at what's going on. This is not what they voted for. They voted for what Senator Hayden just said. We have a fentanyl problem. What are we doing to get people off fentanyl? That's what they voted for. And that's not what we appear to be doing, and it doesn't appear to be directed in that way at all in the future either. Thank you.